What is up, everybody? Welcome to Ready Bet Action. We are here discussing college football week 11. How are we on in week 11? Eric will get a lot of joy to me bringing that up right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, dude, how you feeling? It's a fun college football week. The rankings just came out. How are you feeling about the first pass of the playoff rankings?
So you don't know what my take is going to be because you were talking pre-show about it, and I was like, "Oh, just wait." I actually haven't even looked at them really because so much is going to change between now and then. It almost feels like the people that are upset that they're ranked too low, like just win your friggin' games from here on out, and you'll climb.
Yeah.
So I'm not too upset about it. I mean, I guess some of the ones that, like Notre Dame being as high as I guess they are, is questionable for some people because looks like if they don't lose again, they're in. But that's probably fair given the landscape and how many other teams have losses. So I think it'll all shake out pretty good in the end. Like I like that we have a bigger playoff this year and last year. Like I like the expansion. So I'm not going to complain if like you're the number 14 team in the country because you feel you got screwed and you think you should be 11th. Like, I'm sorry, you should have won one more game. Like, I don't want to hear it.
No, it's funny.
What are your thoughts?
I didn't share my thoughts before the show either, and my thoughts are the exact same. I'm not pissed about anything. I don't have any strong opinions about anything because it's not going to stay the same. My only thought is I think it's really cool to see the Big 12 getting some love this year. You've got, BYU and Texas Tech in the top 10, Utah sitting at 13 right now. Like it's fun seeing that many teams up top from the Big 12 as scrappy of a conference it is and how much shade it normally gets, which, I mean, let's call it what it is. I do think it's a weaker conference, but it's just fun to see the landscape of college football changing. So, yeah, that's my thoughts.
My eyes got real big. I was listening to you, but I've got the Denver Broncos game. Thursday Night Football is on, and the Broncos just blocked the punt, so they actually might score again.
They might score.
Yeah. Anyway,
man, Bo Nix is just too streaky. It's so tough to watch.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Bo Nix, Oregon Ducks, that's probably one of the big games of the weekend. Oregon going to Iowa. That's super exciting. I'm very curious what's going to happen there. I have a pick on that game, so we can talk about that later. But that's one of the big ones. And then you mentioned BYU, Texas Tech. Like that is huge. Like you watch a lot of you've watched both these games, like both these teams up close and personal with Utah. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on this particular game, not Utah aside. I'm just being like, you're dialed into the Big 12. So I'm curious your thoughts on this one.
Man, it's tough because, I mean,
10.5, I think is the line.
10.5, Texas Tech, Utah. That Texas Tech defensive line was just absolutely insane. Yeah. And then in the Arizona State game, they lost their tackle. I'm blanking on the guy's name now, and they haven't really been the same since. So I don't know if we're going to see the same performance out of them this week as I saw in person back in week 4 or whatever it was. BYU, maybe it's my hatred. I can't buy in, man. You've had way too many close games that they should have lost. They should have lost to Colorado. They should have lost to, was it Iowa State or Arizona State? One of the red and yellow teams. Like it's West Virginia. West Virginia gave them a run until halfway through the fourth quarter. So it's tough, but I mean, when teams figure out how to win, that's all that really matters. And that's what they're doing right now. So when I first glance at it, like 10.5, I think BYU will cover, but at the same time, like if Texas Tech comes out and dominates the trenches like they did earlier in the season, I think BYU loses by 21. But this is so hard to say, but I'm a massive BYU fan right now for the rest of the season because if they went out, Utah makes the Big 12 championship. So let's go BYU. Yeah. Or we need Texas Tech to win out and then BYU to lose also to TCU, which I think that's
you've done the math. You've looked at this.
Well, there's some guy much smarter than I am put out a massive Big 12 flow chart that lists
the scenarios,
every single situation. It was so easy to follow, and that's the
cool.
Only way I know. So, dude, another big game this week that I'm excited about. Not excited about. I'm actually terrified about is the Georgia Mississippi State game. Georgia's got Texas next week. This is a scary look ahead spot. They're playing at Mississippi State. Georgia secondary has been terrible, and Mississippi State they're averaging like 35 points a game right now. They took Tennessee to overtime. They took Texas to overtime. Like, they're not the Mississippi State of old. So I don't know. I've got faith in Kirby, but at the same time, it's a little iffy over here on the defensive side of the ball for the Bulldogs right now. So
yeah, I think if they lose or if they don't cover for the sake of betting, like, I don't think it's going to be because they were looking ahead. I don't think this Georgia team has the luxury to do that. I think they've been in some pretty intense games. It's not like they're winning. It's not like they're covering. And we've talked about how they are notoriously bad against the spread this year. So I don't think they're looking ahead. Doesn't mean they cover. Georgia -7.5 was written down on the page. It did not make the play sheet. So
has it dropped to 7.5 now?
Yeah, and I lean Georgia -7.5. But I think a lot of people have the same concerns because I think it started double digit. Like, I think it started 10.
Yeah, I mean, as when I was looking at lines this morning, it was at 8.5.
Yeah, so I mean, I looked at like the absolute best book that had the number. So they had it at -7.5. But I just don't know. Backdoor covers in play. Mississippi State's been tough, man. I know the record's not great, but they've been really tough. A couple of overtimes in there.
If that line drops to 6.5 by some miracle, I'll take it then.
Yeah, I doubt it will. I feel like if anything, it'll probably bounce back. But
yeah.
Anyway,
cool, man. Well, let's get into our plays. We don't have Eric this week. I think that's going to be good news for us. I think we're going to hit a stride here on the show that he misses. So take that, Eric. Give us your favorite play of the week.
Well, here's the deal. Mikey and I kind of see eye to eye on the board this week. And last time that happened was like 3 weeks ago, and we both like crushed. So we feel good. I feel great about this.
Love it.
Favorite play of the week: Indiana -13.5 at Penn State. Everything that I'm hearing is that we're not going to use the Q word for Penn State. Like, I don't think they quit. But their coach was fired, and I think a lot of them are not feeling very motivated, or maybe not as motivated. I think they'll put up a real good, solid effort early. It's not going to be enough. Indiana is going to roll. I think they're up comfortably at half and then pull away pretty easily to finish out the game. So Indiana's not the kind of team that takes their foot off the gas. Curt Cignetti, he likes to smoke it through a filter, as they say, without the filter. I mean, here's the thing, in like 4 years from now, when they're doing the Indiana Penn State, like, here's the past 5 games. There's going to be this one outlier year, 46-3. And everyone's going to be like, remember that year when Franklin was fired and Indiana put up 46? That's what's going to happen this weekend.
That's coming.
So Indiana -13.5.
I like it. I've got to play on this game as well. I'm taking Indiana -6.5 in the second half. Get that at -130. I think Cignetti is pissed that they're sitting at number 2 in the playoff rankings right now, and he wants to prove why they should be ahead of Ohio State. And I think he's going to use this game as a chance to do that on the road at Penn State. I agree with you. I think a lot of these players, like James Franklin, was the reason why these guys came to Penn State. And now that he's gone, it's hard to stay motivated. Indiana's only allowing 4 points in the second half of the game, while Indiana is leading the nation in second half scoring right now. And it's for that reason they're pulling away late. Last week, Penn State, they lost the second half 21-0 against Iowa. They lost at 15-10 after winning the first half. And then UCLA, they lost at 30-15. So they're not finishing games well right now. So I like Indiana to pull away pretty big here.
Love it.
Yeah,
I'll probably
cool.
play both. Also, to just prove our point even more, they really want Mendoza to win that Heisman. So they're going to keep the pedal to the metal for many reasons.
Do you like anybody better than Mendoza on the Heisman right now?
Because I can't bet the Heisman in Colorado for whatever reason. I don't even look at the numbers, so I don't even know who's favored right now. I know that he's up there in the race. He's probably one of the favorites. Is it him and Ty Simpson and
Jeremiah Love?
Okay. Yeah, man, running back, that'd be interesting. I don't see it after what Genty did last year, not winning it. Anyway, so I would lean.
It feels like, though, across all positions, there's no player really separating this year like there has been in recent years. So I think you're going to see statistically a less quote unquote lesser player win it this year compared to years past.
Sure. Yeah.
Just don't see enough people pulling away from it.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jeremiah Love, my next play, I'm going to go Notre Dame team total over 39.5 against Navy minus 135. Marcus Freeman's played Navy 3 times since he started there. The first year is when they were rebuilding. That year they scored I think it was 31 points. Since then, he's scored 42 and 51 points. In general, Notre Dame's averaging 37 points a game right now. That's with the 13th strength of schedule played. Navy's given up 31 or more points the last 4 games against North Texas, FAU, Temple, and Air Force. This is obviously a much different team in Notre Dame here, and we know that Marcus Freeman isn't scared to run the score up. So I think they're doing everything they can to improve their argument as to why they need to be in the playoff ranking or the top 12 of the playoff rankings right now. And I think they do that with a massive blowout here against a good offense in Navy. It's just Navy's not going to do anything defensively. We know that. So, over 39.5. I tease it a little bit just to get me under 40, but you still get it at minus 135.
I like that. I was looking at it too. I told you that before the show. I was like, yep, I like that. It was a little bit more than I wanted to pay, I guess, but I see it the same way you do. It won't surprise me if they get there. That's how I would play it if I had to. My next play, I'm going to stay in the Big Ten, just like my last play. I'm going to take Oregon minus 5.5 traveling to Iowa. Now, Kinnick Stadium is a tough place. It's going to be a great atmosphere. I think like one of the big shows is going to be in town. So there's going to be lots of pomp and circumstance. I think that's okay. Oregon has shown that they can play in an environment like that, winning in that whiteout at Penn State while Penn State was still Penn State. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that that win is maybe as impressive as it was at the time that we thought it was, I should say. But I still think they're very prepared to go in there if Dante Moore can get comfortable. Yeah. I think this bye week has been very helpful. I think the lackluster performance against Wisconsin was in large part due to looking forward to the bye, just getting in, trying to get that win and get out of there. Now, I lost out a lot of money betting on Oregon that game because I had them like covering just their points and they only put up 21. So that was not fun for me. So take this. I think
we all had multiple plays on that game on this show.
Yeah. So take this all with a grain of salt because it's me backing my team. Which I don't often do, but I'm doing it a lot this year with Oregon. So I just think the number's too small. This is the same Iowa team that was struggling, and it wasn't until recently that the quarterback threw a passing touchdown. They primarily, like in Big Ten play, they primarily try to run the ball, and I anticipate that working for maybe a little while, which is why I'm not playing the first half. I think it might be tight at halftime, but Oregon settles in. They're able to stop the run game. There's not enough vertical threat that Iowa possesses. So I think Oregon can win this game in a lot of different ways. If Dante Moore gets right, they can throw this game pretty easily open. DeCorian Moore is excellent. Gary Bryant Jr. has been a revelation as a deep ball threat, but they've also got a trio of running backs that can get it done. So they can do it in the air, they can do it on the ground. Their special teams are amazing. So I could see defensive score. So Oregon can win it a lot more ways than Iowa can. Yeah. So I love Oregon in a teaser if you want to take them in as like a money line parlay type situation. But I like them just minus 5.5 quite a bit here. I also like the total. It's supposed to be a bad weather game, but the totals dropped down to like 41.5. Oregon could get that on their own if they're clicking, if Oregon is clicking, they could get 42, 44 themselves. So anyway, I love Oregon this week. Can't wait to watch. This time next week, Eric and I will be in Autzen watching Minnesota get their butts kicked by Oregon. So I'm excited for that too. So we're in a look ahead spot. So, we'll see.
How many plays are you going to have on that game?
Probably none.
Okay.
Because I just want to enjoy it. If anything, I'll do like a happiness hedge and put like $50 on Minnesota money line, so that if we lose, at least I make back my money from like the tickets and the flight and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I leaned the same way. I actually had them in a leg of a parlay on the money line. The cold weather and the rain just scared me away. I think.
We're Oregon, baby. We live with the Ducks. We live in
Yeah,
that weather. We live in
that
that
doesn't
weather.
always matter though.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It just I don't know. I had a weird feeling about it, and I was like,
No, it's
the last time I loved Oregon, I lost a lot of money, so I'm just gonna stay off
yeah.
of from not getting scarred again. My
I think it's a
next,
big bounce. I think it's a big bounce back game for them, similar to
I
what we
love it.
saw with
You
them
know,
just clicking against Rutgers. Now, I don't think they're
yeah,
going to win like they did at Rutgers, but I think they'll be in sync.
yeah. I was
If
listening
I
to Josh
knew an in
Pate.
sync song, I would sing it.
I mean,
Bye, bye,
I,
bye. Is that?
there it
I don't
is. There
know.
it
I
is.
don't know if that's them or the other one.
I honestly couldn't tell you either. No, I was listening to Josh Pate's show this morning, and his thoughts on this game. He was talking about how he feels like Dan Lanning and Oregon learned a lot from the playoff experience last year, where rather than trying to be at their peak at the start of the year, they tried to find ways to push that peak out towards the end of the year. And this is where he really feels like Oregon is really going to start to peak again. So I'm curious to see if that plays out.
They have a tough end of the year, so they
Oh
need
yeah,
to.
yeah, that schedule's not getting any easier. That's for damn sure. I'll go to my next favorite play of the week. I'm going to go Washington minus 10.5 at Wisconsin, getting that at minus 110. Dude, this is look, Washington, they've been sneaky in a lot of ways this year. This is more of just a massive fade on Wisconsin. They're 134th in the country in points per game. They've scored a total of 7 points combined in the last 3 weeks. How I mean, both teams are coming off a bye here. There's no way they're turning that around off of a 1 week bye. Washington's been great. I mean, the Wisconsin's defense has been solid against the run. They're allowing 3.2 a carry, but they're 132nd in giving up pass completions. Desmond Williams, quarterback for Washington, is the second most accurate quarterback in the country behind Julian Sand. I think he's just going to sit back there and pick him apart. Wisconsin doesn't have a good enough pass rush to put enough pressure on him to get him rattled. And he can run too. So if they're having trouble getting the ball up the middle, they're going to get the ball on the outside with him. They're going to be just fine. So covering 10.5 here, you can play the first and second half spread were each only 6.5. So you can play it that way. I loved all three of them, but I got a better number here. So just taking it at minus 10.5. I don't hate laddering this one up to 14 either if you want it, just to have a little bit more spicy fun with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'll be tailing. Not an official play, but that's definitely where my heart is at as well.
Yep.
And I think, like you said it, but like in the last 2 months, they've scored 14 offensive points. So like,
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Not great.
All right. Hit us for your next one.
Okay. We're going to take James Madison going to Marshall. Team total over 33.5. James Madison has been turning it on of late. Offensively, they got into that big shootout where they just pulled away. I think it was 2-3 weeks ago in that big showdown. I like James Madison to continue to try to make a statement. They have a lot to prove before they can get into the playoff discussion, but they do have an outside shot, especially in a year where we see as much parity as we have. Like, if you can take care of business and win out, take your chances because other teams are going to mess up along the way, right? So I think James Madison's looking for style points here. Marshall has kind of gotten a little bit better as the year has gone on, but not so much defensively. I think James Madison is able to do what they want. Alonzo Barrett, I forget which one it is. I'm terrible. He's a really fun quarterback for James Madison. So they're fun to watch. I often have them on one of the screens in the quad box because last year when the video game came out, I did a James Madison career. And so like now that I just have a soft spot for them. So they often make the quad box because it's their games are early in the morning.
Right.
There's usually not a bunch of games that I want on that time anyway. So JMU all the way, baby. Let's go.
What was that team total at? We missed that on our slide, so I'm just adding it in
33.5.
Minus 110.
Minus 115.
Minus 115. There we go. Updating as we go. Dude, I love it. And this is a very different team, but it does remind me at how many weeks Eric has not given us a Maverick McIver play.
Yeah, well, he's been injured for a bit.
Well,
not Eric McIver.
I'm just
Although
saying
Eric's not here, so he might be injured too. We'll have to look into that.
I still want some more some Western Kentucky plays, man.
Yeah.
No, I love that play. You've got, I think, 2 more left. So why don't you go and give us one more?
Okay, so I'm really concerned about this Colorado team. They just demoted Pat Shermer, I believe,
Yep.
which they need it to do something because the offense has not been clicking. I believe Juju Lewis is now going to be starting. He's the freshman quarterback who he's seen a little bit of action, and it's not been like he's not been great. So I'm just nervous about them going to like West Virginia is already a tough place to play. Morgantown is not like, easy to get to, and it's not it's quite a hostile environment. This is one that before the season started, when I thought CU was going to be a lot better than they are, I was like, man, that could be a tough spot. And lo and behold, here we are. And I think it's a tough spot. So I'm going to take West Virginia -5.5. They have been a lot better since making the change over at quarterback. We know that Rich Rodriguez can, if he has a quarterback that's athletic and can throw the ball just a little bit, what their running game can do. So excited to see. I hate betting against CU. I really do. And I've done it a lot this year. And it's actually not been as profitable as you'd think. But this
They've
week,
had some surprise games in there.
Yeah, beating Iowa State.
Yep.
They covered a couple games.
Almost beat BYU.
I also picked them against Houston. Anyway, it's not about me. It's about CU not being able to show up on the road. Dion this week told a bunch of people, I know you're not sticking around, so why don't you go ahead? And they did like a joint practice on film, and they wanted to get their players' film for the transfer portal, which is cool, but it just shows like an exit mentality. I don't know how much buy-in this team has at the moment. I honestly think it might be best for CU and for Prime to part ways at the end of the season. I think it was great for what it's been. Like, it's been really fun having the spotlight in Boulder for a little bit here, but I don't think it's what's best for the program. I know this is also a really tough coaching cycle. There's going to be slim pickings if you're looking for a good coach and if you're one of the smaller teams that without a big budget, like you're not taking your first pick. So
I think we should have this year only, we should have like a head coaching lottery system where we just pick your school, throw it in, and just let it spit out and call it good.
Yeah, I think that's good.
See what happens. No, I like this play. West Virginia, the last few weeks, especially in conference play, they've had some sneaky things going on. They put up, what was it, like 45 points against Houston last week, when Houston was a significant favorite, if I'm remembering that correctly. They kept it close to TCU. I don't love this. It seems like Rich Rod's system is, as expected, taken quite a few games to get going, but it feels like they're moving in that direction. And I'm with you. I've got a love-hate relationship with Dion, but he does some things at moments that are like really cool coaching calls, and it's like, dude, what are you thinking other times? So, I love this play. We've both got a play here, including TCU, I believe it is. Why don't you hit it? And then mine's in a parlay, so I'll hit both mine at the same time.
Yeah, I want TCU -4.5 at home versus Iowa State. Iowa State's just so banged up. I know they're getting a couple players back, but they've lost some more players. TCU, I just think, is a little bit underrated. I know we're going long here, so I'll keep it brief. I just think TCU at home is a little bit better than the market. I think they win by a touchdown, so I'll take the Frogs.
Yeah,
that's right.
Just yes. I agree with everything. Hoover's top 12 in passing yards and number 4 in touchdowns. Throw that in with the banged up Iowa State secondary. I don't think they're going to be able to do enough. Iowa State's lost 4 straight. I don't see them having enough in the tank to really turn the season around at this point. And
is it Eric McAllister, the receiver, that's just like ridiculous for TCU?
Yeah, he's been a monster. I've got TCU on the money line, and then I've also got, this is all for you, Eric, if you're listening, UNLV money line at Colorado State, getting that at +109 together. CSU, I just don't think can score enough points here. They're averaging 19 points a game and giving up almost 30. Meanwhile, UNLV is the number 12 scoring offense in the country. They've scored at least 30 points in all but 2 games this season against very similar and like-minded opponents. So I just think they're a much more high-powered offense, and I don't think CSU can do enough to stop it. So give me those 2 at +109. This will be my first plus money play of the year, I think it is.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. So I'm out. Are you out?
I have a parlay.
Hit me.
A money line parlay in the SEC. What could go wrong? We're going to take 2 favorites here. We're going to take Vandy at home. Yeah, we're going to take Vandy at home against Auburn, an Auburn team that cannot. Now maybe they get the post Hugh Freeze bump, like maybe his firing. Like you see this in soccer a lot, where the manager was the problem, they make a change, and all of a sudden the team gets a little bit better. I don't think that's going to happen necessarily at Auburn, and not against this Vandy team that has everything to play for still. So I think Vandy gets back after that tough loss. Again, I've got a Vandy play every week on this show, and I think I have hit them all. I think I'm either 3-0 or 4-0. So hopefully this leg continues on. The other leg of this parlay, we're taking Texas A&M on the road at Mizzou. I think Drink is such a great coach. I think Missouri always overperforms my expectations, but losing the quarterback, I think, is going to be too much to overcome. Texas A&M has been so good, both offensively and defensively. Marcel Reed has really shown that he is an elite quarterback in college football, which I did not see coming. I don't know what his odds are for the Heisman, but if he puts it together for the rest of this year, he could really be, I mean, he might be like a favorite. So maybe this is like, no shit, Stefan. But I like Marcel Reed a lot more than I thought I would. Concepcion as their receiver, we talked about him in the SEC previews, amazing. And their running game is elite. So we're going to take Texas A&M on the money line with Vandy on the money line, and we get that at minus 106.
I love that play. So Heisman candidates, just real quick. Julian Sayin is at plus 185. Fernando Mendoza's plus 225. Ty Simpson's at plus 450, and Marcel Reed's at plus 850.
850. So, okay.
850. Yep.
I'm gonna not be able to do this, but I'd love to play just a unit on that. That would be fun.
Yeah, man, and I hope Elko stays this year. I think Elko at Texas A&M is just good for college football. It keeps a team that's not normally super relevant, and they're pretty freaking relevant right now. So, that's fun.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, this is part of the show where you run it down. Before we do that, do all the fun stuff and go hit all the positive buttons, like, subscribe, YouTube, anywhere you get your podcast. We have partnered with RotoViz this year. Fantastic resource for advanced fantasy analytics for the NFL. Go check them out, and then come back and check us out for the NFL show. And hopefully Eric is not slacking on that one. I will kick us off here. I'm going to start with Washington minus 10.5 at Wisconsin. Give me Indiana minus 6.5 in the second half versus Penn State. TCU on the money line and UNLV on the money line at plus 109, and then finish it up with Notre Dame team total over 39.5 at Navy at minus 135.
All right. And I've got a lot of picks here, so we're going to run through them. Indiana minus 13.5 at Penn State. We're going to take Oregon minus 5.5 at Iowa. We're going to take TCU at home minus 4.5. We're going to take a parlay of Texas A&M on the money line and Vandy on the money line at minus 106. We're going to take West Virginia at home minus 5.5 versus Colorado, and then James Madison team total over 33.5. I really wanted to add an underdog, my favorite underdog, which I just can't bet underdogs for some reason. But my favorite one is Cal plus 22.5 going to Louisville. But I'm not.
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points, but I'm playing it. Like, of course, I'm going to play it, but I'm not officially playing it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. That's how we're making our money this week. Check out the NFL show, and we will catch you later.